Awesome. Here we go. Okay.
I have that. Got to clear the got it. Good.
Promise not to fidget when everybody's on.
Ah, it's okay. We can fidget. Oh God, I gotta go pee. I'm just kidding.
Move, Tony, as well.
Yeah.
Natalie's favorite trick is to do FaceTime and then not move, and you think your camera's frozen.
This is scary. We should do it all at the same moment, though.
We should.
I can't do it, Tony.
You can ready, try, ready, go.
That's pretty good.
And then I'll just move my thing. It's gonna be fun.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's good. Thanks for getting this whole crew together.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm excited. I think we're at 15 yeses. We had one lady drop out, but 15 folks saying yes. So I'm excited.
Great.
And I think I have a couple people from my team joining too, just to take notes and help me write up a blog post, transcribe it. So you'll see a couple people from my team too. Let me know if we have anybody in the waiting room yet, yes or no, or if we're still waiting. 12. Yeah, we do. How many? 12. Oh, good. Look at those New Yorkers being on time. What a thing. What a thing. You can let them in, or we can make them wait for us, whatever you want.
Yeah, what time is it? I can't see it.
It's 6:01.
No, that's not. You're the boss.
Let's do it. Let's open the floodgates.
Okay, ready?
We won't start, but we'll let them in. Hey, everybody.
I'm not frozen.
Welcome, welcome. Hey. Hi, friends. Look at you. Good to see you all. Thanks for being early and on time. I'm like proud. Beautiful backgrounds too. Look at this crew. Hair, makeup. Oh my God.
Right.
I have my hair done, especially.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Sam. Hi, Kaylee. Hi, guys. Hi, Alyssa. We're going to get started in just a minute. Thanks, everyone, for being on time. And I'm curious, has anyone had a chance to wear their bag out in the wild? Yes, no? Yeah. I'm gonna do show and tell. I just wore my bag. I got the clear one. I don't know if anybody else got this one. I just wore this to a football game, a sporting event. And it was I have to share this because it was kind of genius. Like, if you've ever been to a sporting event, which I've been to 3 in my life, they give you a really hard time about getting a bag in the door. So this one was a hit, no problems. And that's the last time you're going to hear me say stadium or sporting event tonight or any night.
My 11-year-old daughter is trying to steal mine, so she's obsessed with it. Yeah. I get this one, and I love it. It's hard to say, but
cute.
She's like, that's the perfect size for me to take once a week. They can leave campus to go get lunch a block away, and she's like, that's the perfect size. I'm like, no way, forget it, forget it.
That's so cute, Alyssa. Oh my God.
He's definitely a daughter stealer for sure.
Yep.
Also, I wasn't allowed to leave campus for lunch. Was anybody else allowed?
I definitely wasn't at that age. They're only allowed to go a block away, basically, and they have to go in groups. But,
okay, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a story, a place they wore their bag? No pressure. Show and tell. Feel free.
I have literally worn mine since I got it everywhere. I took it on a cruise. I took it out the other night. It is, as she said, it's the perfect. I have the same one, Alyssa, and it's the perfect size. I've always been somewhere between I have a wallet, and if I bring a big bag, my husband's going to make me carry all of his things. So this is
That's exclusionary to the my bag. I've never heard that one. I like it.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get one for him.
It's true. It's so true. This is a perfect like segue starter, like just vent moment for me. Why is it that our husbands complain when we bring big bag, but then like 30 to 50% of it is their shit?
Always theirs. Yeah, all their things.
It's
It
rude.
streamlines.
It's rude.
Because we don't want anything bulging in our pockets.
Yeah. Well, we don't even have pockets.
Yes. This is the next product line for you, Tony. And you guys will work on something with pockets that is for the dress crowd.
Absolutely.
We're going to move into retail clothing.
The things that you're bringing though, right? Like it makes you sort of prioritize, I guess, like what you really need. I end up bringing snacks for everybody and all this ridiculous stuff that I don't really need to be carrying. So it's been great. I love it. It's so beautiful.
It's true. I can attest. Chandra brings snacks for all.
Yeah.
And we love you for it, Shawnee. Thank you.
Well, we've definitely noticed larger bags post 20 of the pandemic. I mean, our bigger bags, I think people are leaving for the day and they don't really want to go back home. So they just put everything in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No scientific evidence on that, but it sure seems like that's the intention.
This is good. This is like a product brainstorm for you all. I don't know if you guys knew that. We thought this was a fireside chat. This is me having an intervention with all my friends for what we want you to create next. Let's get started. Let's do this. Welcome everyone. It's so good to see you all. Thanks for making our take two. Thanks for being here for our new date. So glad you guys could make it. We're going to have a fireside chat here with Tony and Andrew in just a minute. I'm so excited. I think I know everyone here fairly well, but for those of you who may have forgotten who I am because time doesn't exist anymore, my name is Natalie Zfat, and I am a writer and a lover of fashion and your host for tonight's Fireside Chat. Before we start, a couple housekeeping items. I was going to say, please keep your cameras on, but you already all have your cameras on, which is awesome. And then keep your microphones muted if you can. Until the end, we're going to open it up for questions just so we avoid any background noise. If someone says something tonight that you deem social media worthy, feel free to tag Hammitt on Instagram at HammittLA. I'm sure they would love to hear from you. And before we kick things off, we actually have a video that we want you to watch to give you a little bit more info about the brand. So let's roll the tape. I've always wanted to say that.
Imagine a brand that would do anything for you. A brand that searches the world for its finest and most durable materials. A brand that designs with your adventures in mind. A brand whose chairman would literally deliver your order himself, if that's what it took. Thank you for loving Hammitt.
Thank you.
I love watching myself. Sorry.
Moonlighting as Bond. That's awesome. In that video, they refer to Tony as the chairman, but he likes to refer to himself as the chief cheerleader. I'm going to introduce him and the CEO, Andrew Forbes, as well, and help me sort of welcome them, and bear with me while I read their impressive pedigrees, which I'm going to read so I don't miss anything. After earning his MBA, Tony Drockton, an entrepreneur at heart, spent over a decade building successful businesses in construction, real estate, and home finance sectors before deciding to indulge his true creative passion by taking the reins of Hammitt in 2008. Tony's vision and leadership has overseen Hammitt's transformation from a best-kept hometown secret to a digital and retail phenomenon. Welcome, Tony. Andrew Forbes has served as Chief Financial Officer of Vidal Sassoon Salon and Schools, Founding Chief Operating Officer of Jimmy Choo, Chief Executive Officer of Terran Rose, Chief Executive Officer of Joopy Corporation, better known as Kardashian Fashion Brands, before joining Hammitt as Chief Executive Officer in 2017. Please help me welcome Tony and Andrew. Welcome, guys.
Fun.
It's awkward on Zoom. There's no clap. Everyone's clapping though. That was cute. I didn't see clapping, even though it was muted. It's a little creepy, but there was a clap. Well, I'd love to get started by kind of asking you this question about the world opening up back up again. It feels like for the first time in a while, people are sort of digging into their closets and pulling out all the beautiful things that they've been sort of hiding away for 2 years. Cue the confetti cannon. Tony, how do you think this time that we've sort of been off has reset people's perspective on luxury fashion? And I wonder, how does Hammitt kind of fit into that?
I think luxury now can be both online and offline for sure. We discovered that when we couldn't go offline. So, at Hammitt, we try to create a luxury experience no matter where they encounter our brand. So we have a true concierge style online experience 7 days a week, where it's manned by humans that answer the phone and talk to people. They do live video with Hero. We even have sessions within our retail stores digitally. And then when it comes to getting back out there, one person might want a glass of wine, sit in front of a camera and purchase Hammitt, but someone else, they want to get into our stores. They want to touch and they want to feel, or they want to go to one of our retailing partners. They need to experience luxury in a tactile way. I think the commonality between the two is the people that represent our brand, and they all need to be there emotionally for that one-on-one connection. So whether they're talking to somebody by chat, whether it's one-on-one video, or whether it's in person at our stores. And I really believe whether it's in person with our over 800 door retail partners around the country, for them to really feel the experience of Hammitt, of what we're trying to accomplish from that individual. I mean, that's the holy grail for me. And I think that's now an expectation for luxury, especially for the people that weren't able to get out and shop and are going back out there. They want it all now because they understand that they can get it. And there's a lot of other great brands pulling it off, and we try to follow them. And I'm referring to the great luxury brands of Europe, the Louis Vuittons, the Gucci. It's an amazing experience when you walk into their stores. We try to offer that, but pull away that super exclusivity experience where we're above you. In our stores, we really love to have a good time. We like to laugh. We like to have fun. It's very, very low pressure in regards to selling, but we managed to do pretty well in that area too.
I love that. I love the different ways in, and certainly I'm the wine drinker in front of the computer. I don't know where everyone else is in their shopping journey, but that's me most nights a week, being a newborn mom babies go to bed at like 7. Okay, so I'd love to kind of talk about your origin story, because I don't know that many people know that you really started as a small team. I'm a small business owner. Most of these folks in the room know how much I love small business. In many cases, they have their own small businesses. Andrew, maybe I can turn this one to you. You started as a small team. Hammitt started as a small team not that long ago in 2008, and then sort of evolved into this mega successful company. I wonder if you can speak to how you think the origin story kind of has set you apart in the luxury retail space.
Well, I think Tony's had a very clear vision of what he wants from the brand right from the very beginning. Like you just mentioned about European brands, and you can come and still buy the bag, even if you're not at that exclusive level. And the second thing is he's been really unwavering in his commitment to that and taking a long-term view, not being tempted by the short-term view. And it's all about customer first. We really do care about customer first. Product integrity. We really go for the best. We don't compromise on the quality of what we're making. And then also we've been price integrity in that wherever you go, you can get the same quality, the same price. We just want you to be happy whichever channel you go with. And that long-term view and that long-term commitment and clear visions really helped elevate us to the next level.
Anything to add there, Tony? I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think when I started in this business, I was new. 2008, Stephanie Hammitt had some bags. I fell in love. I invested. And she's like, we do these parties in Manhattan Beach during the holidays. People invite us in and we have wine and cheese, and they get to look at the designs, and they're really great. So we did those for like the first 8 months, and I kind of fell in love with that. And that really is the kernel of how we started saying we build the brand one person at a time. Because I saw what happened when these small groups of fans, majority women, would get together. Either they all knew each other, or there was a couple new ones that didn't, and they connected over the handbags, the designs. Of course, the wine helps, And we've taken that all the way to now where really we still feel like when a person comes into our Manhattan Beach store or into our South Coast Plaza store, they're always offered a glass of champagne. They're always offered a little snack, something to eat. We give them, we give before we ask, right? Little gifts, little surprises. That's hospitality. It's like being invited into somebody's home when we started. So that origin of how we started, we've been able to carry forward right up to today. I mean, on Saturday, we had one of our largest, we call them sample sales, and I'll tell you more about that later, but it was just 1,500 people that we basically invited into our home. And we had a lot of fun. Cliffhanger.
Okay, I'd love to hear about it. I know I love the sort of offering every time someone walks it, Jewish mom vibes, just feed them and make sure they're happy and not cold, and you're going to get customers and happy people coming in. I wonder if we can kind of speak to this kind of, I don't know, this quality that became really important, I think, in the pandemic, this idea of versatility and functionality. I kind of feel like for people who don't know much about Hammitt from a technology standpoint, the way you build your products, maybe you can tell us a little bit more, Tony, about what makes it different and kind of what inspired you to build bags that way.
I think I'll best to show and tell. So this is our VIP. And when I started in the business, I loved the look, the signature rivet detail. This is something we've carried through since even before I got involved with Stephanie. But in the beginning, they weren't as functional. And we do lots of trunk shows. I do Henry Bendel's in New York in the window. And this is how we started, really with small specialties and resorts. I travel around the country and I would just show the handbags and I would talk to customers and they would start to suggest like, I just wish there was a place for my cell phone. So we have one on every bag on the outside. We've had that for almost all of our 13 years since in business. And then they'd say, the leather is just too hard. When it's into my body, I want it to be soft to wrap around. So we actually updated to much softer materials. And then they'd say, there's just one strap and it's way too short or it's too long. It's like my porridge is too hot and too cold. So we added the adjustable straps with they're extra long. So a 6'1" person could still hit the waistline in any other size. So besides adjustable straps, cell phone pockets, everything in the right place, they're like, when you go inside, a lot of these bags, it's like a bottomless pit. And we added lots of little pockets for lipstick. This is for the credit card slot. We do our red suede lining versus dark so you can see everything. So there's really thoughtfulness in every design. And then the last thing is these really smooth zippers. So they open with one hand. So whether you're holding a cup of coffee, whether you're walking your dog, whether you're holding the hand of your daughter or your son, you can still get in and out of the bag quickly with just one hand. And that's the product. And that's unwavering, is that we always deliver the softest leather and the biggest amount of functionality. And so beforehand, I think people had to choose high-end luxury look and brand, or a lower end product that's just really functional. And you'll see the New Yorkers carrying two bags because of that. They got the bag they want to show off, and then they got a backpack, or they got something that's no brand to carry everything else. We decided we could offer both of those and be successful. And it wasn't an easy path. I can tell you it still isn't. Still some people, they just want that brand that everyone knows. Well, now we're getting to the point where people really know and love Hammitt, and we still have all the functionality in it. And it's led our success, especially in the past couple of years.
I want to talk more about that. This idea that when you become a brand that people know and a brand that is associated with luxury, I feel like it becomes very narrow in terms of what your brand can be. And an exception, I think, in your business is that humor becomes a brand tenet. And I think that's interesting. You don't usually see humor kind of closely associated with luxury. It feels like something we're not allowed to do. So maybe talk us through, why is humor a brand tenet? Why did you have a blowout party where I heard you dressed as the cast of Elf? Tell us more about what happened, please.
I think it came down in early days, honestly. I just like to have fun. And I remember the first time I did a trunk show, Bloomingdale's, early in the days, it was so stiff. And I was stiff because I didn't realize that I could be Tony. And a couple of people came and they're like, what happened to the guy I know? And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, the Tony, the one that just woo. And so I started bringing that personality into these small events and trunk shows. And it's culminated into, this is on Saturday. We threw a sample sale. It was in Manhattan Beach, California. This is the 1,500 friends that we invited into our home. This theme was Elf, the love of my life, Shelly. She was my Jovi.
So sweet.
I always cry when I took. She's amazing. She's been a huge part of my life in the last 2 years. We dated 27 years ago, married, kids, divorced, and we just reconnected. So she's my Jovi. Yeah. Anyways, don't
don't make me emotional. I'm too fragile for this.
So much joy. It's like she should. Anyways, so all these people came on Saturday. We had tons of stuff for them to do. Of course, we have open bar, champagne, but getting back to how we don't take ourselves too seriously. 12 shirtless men walking around just because, just because. And what's funny is the first hour, it starts at 10 a.m. and it goes till 1. Why? Well, because we learned our lesson. If our fans come at 7 p.m., they don't leave and they drink a lot. They have a lot of fun. So by about 11:30, our fans were warmed up, and suddenly the men were just as important as all the handbags that they could score.
Sure.
Combination of the two. And then we had art bar, design your own hats. We had a makeup bar. We had a hair braiding bar. I mean, it's a full-on party. And then as a surprise, we had 5 planes fly over for charity. And for every pass, I told them I'd give them more money. And they flew over 4 times. They put smoke in. People were like, woo, multiple DJs. So it's fun to do that. And we've had lots of other themes. We've had class of 1984 high school graduation. That's when I graduated from Holy Name in Cleveland, Ohio. We've had Day of the Dead for Halloween, where everyone did costumes. I mean, I've shown up in roller skates and more costumes than you can ask for. And I think that's the fun thing. Don't expect me, by the way, to put on a costume or take on a role, because I take it very seriously.
I feel like we should, for part 2 of the next event, we're a field trip. We're coming to your LA store. We want the shirtless men. We're doing that repeat.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, the great is people that come for the first time are always like, I just thought I was coming to like a warehouse with some bags in it. And they all of this, and they leave so happy. So it's awesome. Humor is so important in life, especially after the 1.5 years that we've been through, but we've carried it through all the way.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I want to turn to like a little bit more serious of a topic, not like in a bad way, but just more of a serious topic, which is the kind of investment model that you are. Andrew, I'm gonna let you take this one, which candidly I didn't know much about.
I'm the serious guy. It's like Laurel and Hardy. Which one is Laurel? Which one?
You have the serious questions. I'm sorry. We need you, Andrew, please. This is about Regulation A. I don't know if y'all are familiar. I certainly didn't know anything about this before I met Hammitt, but Hammitt is Regulation A funded. And I wonder, Andrew, if you can talk us through what does that mean for anyone who doesn't know, and kind of what made you go this route for the company?
So before Regulation A, you could only invest in a company if you're an accredited investor, which basically means you had a certain level of wealth, a certain level of income, or you're an investment bank. It really narrowed it down. And I have to tell you, Tony was the one who said, let's try that Reg A. Let's open up our investment to all our fans, all our customers. Why can't they share in how well Hammitt's doing? Why can't we democratize the whole thing and just open it up? And I was like, wow, we're going to open up everything. And he said, yeah, we'll just open up the books, we'll open up everything, we'll file. And anybody who loves Hammitt can buy shares in Hammitt. And that's where we started. And it's been great so far. 70% of our investors are women. And women traditionally don't invest in up and coming companies. You know, it's usually guys who invest in electric car companies that go bust or something like that. But it's really been a great passion of Tony to open this up, democratize, and let everybody share in the success of Hammitt. And it's working.
I love that you have such a high percentage of women investors. I know when we spoke last time, we were like trying to unpack why. You know, obviously you're making products that mostly women are enjoying, but that still, you know, isn't the case for other retail brands for you know, that make women's clothing and accessories. So I wonder if maybe you have a hunch. Why do you think women are so you know, attracted to the company from an investment standpoint? And then I think also you mentioned earlier, I love that, Tony, that story you told about like when you would talk to women and they'd be like, I'm gonna, you know, this leather isn't soft enough, or this strap is not adjustable quite right. Like, you know, you're listening to women in terms of the way your product is made and iterated. What do you know, what makes you guys so attuned to this demographic? I have to ask two men here running the show. What is it that makes you kind of uniquely understand, and what do you think is attracting women to the company from an investment standpoint?
That's for me?
Sure.
I'll interrupt you if you want.
Why don't you
Both take a pass? Why don't you both answer, please? I would love to hear from both of you.
Well, I think that the first thing is that we have a lot of women on our team, which really helps us. You know, Tony and I don't actually design the handbags. We don't actually test them or manage the production. So that's the first thing. And we have, you know, active fans in the company, like Tony said. And my experience in the past in the companies I've been at before, when you've been out raising funds, you sit around this table with a lot of boring old guys, not like Tony, who stare at you and say, why would anybody buy a pair of shoes? What there's thousands of shoes. Why would any? And we really thought that it's a message that women would understand. I mean, it's not just a practical, it's an emotional thing. I have friends who invest in restaurants, and I never understand why the heck they invest in restaurants, because they always go bust. But that's not always true. I mean, it's something they understand. And what we wanted to do was to open up the doors and to let our fans, it's really to open up to our fans and to make it available to them. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes back to that kernel of how we started. You know, yes, I am a man, but I've learned over the 13 years to really listen, because the biggest ideas have always come from somebody that's passionate about their handbag or about the company. And we really listen to them. You know, you guys should do this. You should come out with this. So I thought to myself, I started asking people a couple years ago, what about crowdfunding? Would you invest in Hammitt if we could? And people were like, yes, let me know. And I started just throwing it out once in a while. And I was like, you know what? Instead of going the traditional route of private equity, let's give this a shot. And I think the biggest fear, if anyone was not familiar with this, what Andrew said, you have to be completely transparent. So a 250-page offering circular, fully audited financial statements, everything, they can see everything under the hood. And what I realized is that's what we've been doing all the time anyways. We've really allowed people to understand our business model, what we do and what we don't do. And we've trusted them to decide to support us no matter what. And they're doing that by buying our product everywhere, not just directly from us. So offering shares to me was the next level. It was just connecting with our customers so that one day when people are walking down the street, instead of saying, what is that handbag? And know it's a Hammitt, they're going to say, what's that handbag? What's a Hammitt? And by the way, I'm one of the founding investors. I really love this brand. So I think it brings these customers to a whole nother level. And it really shows the team, our in-house team, of how much people support us. As a matter of fact, multiple employees at all levels have already invested, which is also a huge testament to the success. And I said, my other fear was 80% of crowdfunded investors are men. So the fear was there would be failure because we're only going to get the 20% of women, but that's not true at all. We had, like we said, over 70% women, and the majority of them, it's the first time they've ever done a private investment.
Wow.
So love that.
That's amazing that you've been able to speak to them in that way. And obviously, judging by the room tonight, it's no secret that women love Hammitt. And I was going to make, when you said that we're a transparent company, we know how to be transparent. I was going to make it. I'm not going to
make transparent, and we are transparent.
I wonder if we can pivot for a second to the fact that obviously the last 2 years have been such an environment of havoc for retail brands. And it's obviously an industry that already was under duress, kind of competing with so much online and e-commerce stores. I feel like the brick and mortar world has just really been through a lot in the last decade. I wonder what your take is. What are you saying to people, or what do you say to a person who kind of questions, is this a good time to even invest in a retail brand? I wonder how would you answer that question? And I know you're doing a new docuseries going public, right? Maybe we have to wait to watch that to hear the answer. Maybe not. maybe we'll get a sneak peek.
You should watch it. No, November 30th.
November 30th.
November 30th.
Cool.
And you'll get to see both of us. Well, mostly Tony. You get to see 90% Tony, 10% me. But you get to see everything that goes on through the company.
Cool.
Retail is, we both believe, is going to continue to be there. It's just the wrong retail that's not got through this. It's the people that don't care about their customers. They don't care about, giving them that drink, taking care of them. And I also say, we're not just retail. We have our own retail, we have wholesale, and we have a large direct consumer online business. Interestingly enough, all three businesses are growing strongly at the same time.
And how much?
How much? How much?
Setup.
Today, company-wide, we're 82% up from last year. This morning.
82.
That's really impressive for the year we were in also, not just any year.
We grew last year.
And we grew last year. So it's on top of, from 2 years ago, we're up 300% at
Yeah.
wholesale. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Huge. It's huge.
So last year, I'm going to shout out Tony because we sat down with everything that's happening and we decided we were going to go for it. We didn't lay anybody off. We didn't cut the pay of any of our junior people. We kept everybody else going. It paid back. And I have to say, our big wholesale partners didn't cancel orders. They took the product even though they were shut. And we pushed hard online and we grew last year. And we've added people and we've continued through this year. So it was about holding your nerve and going for it, wasn't it? The values in the company.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've always walked the talk of price, brand, and product integrity. And we've always told our wholesale partners, we will be with you no matter what, as long as you support those three tenets. And when COVID happened, they saw, we went into action. We really increased our ad spend so that when they opened back up, there was this built up demand for the product. So all boats rose together because we eliminated a person having to choose by channel and by price. We just wanted people to stay and fall in love with Hammitt. And that's why we're successful. So why invest in retail? Because we are the new retail. This is how all great brands will be building now. It's not separating here. This is my online, this is my specialty, this is my wholesale. This is who we are. And we invite people to discover us anywhere where we have a great partnership and we fully support that. And that's what's happening. And I think that's what the consumer wants. They don't want channel conflict. I mean, really channel conflict is really just price conflict. You know that. In the end, if you find it cheaper somewhere, we hope you do. Hammitt, we don't play that game.
I'd love to maybe end on this note, kind of looking ahead, and then I certainly want to open it up to audience questions. I feel like this room certainly will have some good ones. But I'd love to look ahead a little bit. Each of you telling me kind of what you think the future of luxury retail looks like. I think we're all kind of curious after the few years we've had, whether you think it's going to be an e-commerce play, a brick and mortar play, a little bit of both. Is it the hospitality factor and the warmth? Is it adding humor and injecting unexpected qualities into your brand experience? What does the future 5, 10, 20 years of luxury look like to you?
I mean, I think the future is very bright. In the luxury category, it's going to be about inclusivity, still about experiences once again. It's about an offering that's unique. And I'm not just talking about the product and the people representing it. And I think if you project 10 years forward, no one will be discussing different channels of how they sell their product. It's all melted together. And so if we look overseas for video sales, they're massive. I mean, people buy through watching video. It's nascent in America. So 10 years from now, people they'll either be on their phone talking to a person in the store, showing the product. With one click, it'll probably show up in 15 to 1 hour. And that'll be luxury. If they want to go to the store to get the full experience, these stores will be technologically savvy, but it should be still invisible. Because nobody wants to interface with technology in a retail store. They want it to just make the experience that much smoother and better.
I agree with Tony. I think quality is always going to shine through. There's always going to be a place for quality. And I totally agree with what Tony was saying. So I don't think there's any doubt that luxury is going to continue.
All right. So there we go. We've all got the formula to keep it going in the luxury fashion space. Thank you for sharing. I'd love to open it up for any questions that anybody has. Feel free to unmute yourself, share it, scream out. Don't feel free, you don't have to like take turns or anything. Just go for it. Hey, Brittany.
Hey, Natalie, thanks so much for having us. So
yes, just we have a lawyer in the room. I just want to
I know, right? I know. So everyone's like, great, fun, sucking, let it continue.
No.
I'm a fun lawyer, right? So, but I was a geek. And so I checked your trademark filings just because I'm a nerd like that. And I was super curious tell me about Bag Boys. How did that work into your guys' branding? And tell me about where
Wow, you are a super sleuth.
So good. Everyone follow Brady on Instagram. I'm buying you a minute to explain yourself, Tony. But seriously, she gives amazing advice for creative entrepreneurs. Brittany Rattel on Instagram. Seriously, good follow.
Thanks, Nat. But I love all things trademark. So I was just really curious about the story of how that evolved. So
in the earliest of days, it was just 5 men trying to make this thing work. And we were in the middle of the Great Recession. We were throwing one of our big events and the Fremantle, they brought us in for a pitch for a reality show. And we actually got it. And they signed us and they decided they were going to shoot the sizzle and it was going to be called Bag Boys. And it was about all men trying to build a luxury handbag. And after the sizzle was pitched to a bunch of stations, this was back 10 years ago, they just came back and said, John's like, we got some good news in bags. You can do the show, but you told me prior that you wanted it to be a business show. You wanted to talk about how you build a brand from the business side. And Bravo and them, they want it to be a reality show. They want it to be lots of drama. And you have to probably hire a couple of people that are going to bring that to the table. So we took a pass on it. Now here we are 10 years later and business shows are the greatest thing ever. The profit, everything else. We were just a little too early, but I went ahead and registered Bag Boys because I knew if I signed a contract and we were huge, they would own the IP and I wanted to own it. That's where it came from.
Super smart. I love that. So you guys were too ahead of the curve, visionaries in every sense. Yeah.
I think so. I think it would have been a great show because within a year and a half after we passed, I went homeless. I was couch surfing. We were so broke. I would have sold my dog for $5 at the time. And I love my dog.
Talk about drama. Bravo. They could have had it all.
They could have had it all. They could have had it all. But you get what because now here we are with going public and we're doing exactly that. It's a docuseries. We're in much better shape. So I think back then there would have been a lot of humor, but not a lot of like true long-term success, just a lot of dreaming of it. So
that was some serious investigative journalism, Brittany. I am impressed. After that, every question is going to be a breeze. I looked into your trade filings. Was anyone expecting that to be the beginning of a question tonight? Who else has a question? Please unmute yourself. I want to hear your voices.
I have a question.
Sure. Who's that? Hey, Jen.
Hi.
Honey, how
Thanks
are
for
you?
having me. Not being biased from Facebook, which is now known as Meta, but is it too early for brands to start thinking about their presence in the Metaverse? I feel like it brings interesting and unique opportunities for brands, but what could that look like for Hammitt?
Jen works at Facebook Meta, just in case that wasn't.
I love technology. I went to a streaming conference many years ago before they were even called influencers in New York. And I'm all up on what NFT is and Ethereum. So it's a perfect question for me. Louis Vuitton's already done a collection for the previous Metaverse before it was called that. Balenciaga has dropped for League of Legends clothing you can buy. So we're already there from the true luxury brands that I love to look to as leaders. So I definitely think there's a place for Hammitt there, but I think you have to put it on the product roadmap at the right time. It's probably when we're $100 million brand, not the current 30 going on 50, just because I think it's a different audience and it's probably going to be a lot more meaningful when we have a wider distribution channel, potentially international, that people can pick up the products. Yeah, but I think every brand will be there for sure that wants to be part of the conversation with that generation.
Love it. The good part is we have years to get there.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we do.
We're going to be calling you, Jen, when we're ready. Thank you. Thanks, Jen. Good question. Anybody else have a question? We have time for a couple more. Anybody?
We answered everything perfect.
I got a hand.
Hey.
Hey, Alyssa, and Tony, I'll come to you. Please. Liz.
One of my favorite things about the line is I love that you really can like get something you really love. Like if you like a black bag, you can choose like small, medium, and large probably. You can choose the color, you can choose the hardware in a lot of senses. So it feels like you're getting a very custom, almost personalized bag. And I'm wondering how do you feel like the customization aspect fits into the luxury market going forward? Is that something that people really like? Do they really want to make things their own in that way, kind of?
Yeah, I feel like I'm hogging this area too. But we just did a customization in our stores this past weekend. We had these little leather stockings. We had an artist come in and she hand drew anything, names on it. It was a big hit. I think when you look towards like Nike or Vans and the footwear and the customization that they've been doing for years, it's going to continue. And I'm hoping that we can be a bigger part of it as we grow. But when you think about you go to like a Vans and in 7 days, the shoes arrive and they're totally made one-off. It's here right now. Will it rise all the way up to Louis Vuitton, the Gucci's and the Pradas? I hope so, because that means we can go there too. And I think customers want that. You're right. It just feels nice to have something that really feels like it's your own.
We're trying, Alyssa. That's why I've also been adding in different straps that you can buy.
Oh, cool.
Send for monogramming and some of the other things. It's just having all the pieces together, and we're heading down that path. In between me going nuts about the SKU count.
Yeah. Well, we started doing weekly drops about a year ago, like the sneakerhead industry. And that was also another thing. It's not custom, but it's limited edition, limited numbers. And the one we just dropped, our Pacific collection, that sold out in the shortest amount of time. I think it was less than 10 days.
Yeah.
So that's another way for someone to feel like they have something that's very special without it actually being custom just for them. And again, I just look to other industries that I think are leading in that. And definitely the cool kids, they like the limited editions. And we want to be at least in that conversation.
Elisa, I have to tell you, imagine what it's like being told that instead of every 3 months doing a collection, I want one every week. And can you do it next month?
Yeah.
You got to challenge ourselves.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I have a question.
Yeah, Lauren, hey.
Obviously, fashion is a big culprit of waste, and many fashion brands are looking towards how they can be more sustainable. Do you have any sustainability initiatives?
I can't think of anything more sustainable than making a product one time and having it last multiple generations. And I stick by that. So, when our handbags get passed down as a family heirloom, can't think of anything more sustainable. So maybe we are using some products where people think that the footprint up front might be a little heavy, but if you factor it over the years that our products stay on the shoulders of people that love us, I think it's a home run. And then on the other end, our supply chain is super simple. Everything's manufactured in one place. We source from there, it comes over. So we're not sourcing all over the world, shipping it to a third place and then having it shipped over here. And I think that helps a little too.
We're sort of aware of it as well. I mean, our factory has solar panels. We look at a lot of other bits and pieces. Yeah. We just, and all our team internally care about it. So we watch it.
Yeah, for sure. They're very proud of our product lasting, multiple generations. So that's what we hold on to.
It is very nice quality. Thank you.
Thank you. We can't be all to everyone, right? So that's our choice. And we do repair and replace them for life without even a registration. You don't need a receipt. So whether someone picks one up on eBay, we gladly take it back in and bring it back to life so they can wear it forever.
Nice. Great question, Lauren. Anybody else? Katie, I see a hand. I'm coming back to you, Chandra, too. I see a bunch of hands. Please, Katie, we're going to you first.
I'll be really quick. I'm so curious about the demographics and, going forward, do you make bags according to different demographics and, age ranges, or, who is really your core customer? And do you see that changing in the coming years as well?
We're aware of all our demographics. We don't actually set about working out to try and be a success in this group, that group, different product. We try and make the best bags we can for the style, for the design, and then we would love everybody to buy them. So I can't see who it was that
The
his
daughter.
daughter was taking it. We love that. And that's often what happens. So we don't try and age limit or demographic limit. We're aware of the age, we're aware of the geographies. We look at a lot of stuff. We look at silhouettes, we look at shades of colors and different things. So I don't want to think you think we don't know a lot of this stuff. We do, but we deliberately don't set out saying, I want to make a cheap product that's going to go for a 15 to 18-year-old young woman, and I want this product for a 60-odd-year-old woman. We just make what we think is the best quality bag that can serve a lot of different women and men. I mean, I carry a backpack, so does Tony. Does that answer the question?
I see a thumbs up.
Yes, thank you.
Thumbs up, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was told when I didn't know early on that you needed to do this. You need to have a diffusion line, and you need to have your up line, and then you need to make to margin for this channel, and then you need to negotiate wholesale pricing with everybody based on volume. It was the best advice that I never listened to.
Yeah.
And I just thought none of this fits for the long term. We want to just make really beautiful product that's going to last multiple generations that people can pass down to a family member. And we're going to design it so that there's a wide enough audience to love it, but we're not going to try to serve everybody, not even close.
So I tell you, Dillard's pay the same price as a corner store.
Same
Everybody pays the same price, no volume discounts, nothing like that, because it costs that much to make it.
Yeah.
We're trying to make a reasonable amount of money. That's what it is.
I use the airline example. I hate when I'm on a plane, I bought my ticket that day and I know I'm sitting next to somebody that probably paid 1/5 of the price. And that just frustrates me.
Yeah.
So when two Hammitt fans meet, my dream is they have the exact same story. They have an amazing experience behind it. And hopefully they all paid the same for it. And that to me builds the brand up versus the first thing you ask, where did you get it? How much did you pay? Hammitt fans don't ask that question, how much did you pay? They just say, where did you get it?
I know I saw Sam and Kaylee with a question. I'm gonna go back to you guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for the bags, first of all. Yeah, you guys are awesome. And so nice to see you, Nat, too. Yeah. We were wondering if you're doing anything special or secretive for Christmas and Hanukkah that you can tell us about.
We just dropped the Christmas stocking. So we did it a little early because we know people have to
Yeah,
fill
we
it
just
up.
saw them. They're nice. Beautiful.
And then we're going to play through the rest of the holiday into the first quarter. We've got a couple of artist collections that we've been working on. I think, and I got Tracy to the right of me. Do we have an artist collection happening? Just say it. It's okay.
What's that?
We do.
Yeah.
First part of the year.
First part of the year, right?
Yeah.
So we have a couple different artists we've been working with that were like Jamie Lee Reardon, and it's going to be so exciting.
Cool.
Getting more and more into a kind of a monthly cadence of special drops and
Build
special
a
editions.
bundle.
What's that?
Oh, build a bundle.
Oh, that's right. We're doing build a bundle. See,
Yeah.
by the way, when you're chairman, chief cheerleader, you don't go into the details. For the first time, we're going to let people build their own bundle and then we ship it all together. So it could be the perfect Christmas gift for themselves, for someone else. It's pretty exciting.
Cool.
Thank you, Tracy. Big round, Tracy. Yeah.
Did see the designs for next Christmas yesterday.
The secret is you don't have to know the answer. You got to know where to find the answer.
Yeah.
That's why I have a twin.
Right, right. You two, though, you know Stephanie Hammitt's an identical twin. I don't know if you know this. So
No, we didn't realize.
her sister Trisha, they're identical twins. They've never been apart physically until her husband got relocated to Austin. She moved away, and within 12 months, they were both having a lot of issues. She had to come back. They physically needed to be together. I mean, and I think that's the thing. And they're happy again. So Trisha was like, "We're going
That's
back.
cool.
That's my sister."
We
So
totally relate. Totally relate.
look at that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a real thing. You can't separate identicals. So
No,
you guys look like you have a lot of fun together, by the way. Thank you.
just a little.
I
Yeah.
love the double mint, the matchies. Good stuff.
They're the most fun. Oh, love you guys.
Love you too.
Great to see you guys. Everyone's here has made my job so much easier with their asking all the questions. I don't have to do anything. Anybody else have a question? Should we round? I think we have time for one more question. If anyone has one. or not, or we could
I
all
would
go.
love to ask one. Oh,
Yeah, who's that? Who's that asking? Larkin, hey.
Hi, I think Jess also had a question.
sorry.
I saw your hand go up too.
well, maybe we have a similar one. You can answer whichever one you want, but I just want to know, I mean, the bag is amazing. I love it. And your assortment is incredible.
Thank you.
Obviously, there's a lot of bags out there. Where do you feel like your people are finding you? I mean, with marketing changing every day, is it, paid ads? Is it emails? Is it influencer marketing? I'm just curious as to like where you're acquiring new customers.
On Facebook.
Yeah, right. Is there a Facebook person here?
Yeah, I was going to say tread lightly. Yeah.
I think it's
The first 10 years, we were a wholesale driven brand, specialties, resorts, department stores. About 4 years ago, 3.5, we said, let's focus on direct to consumer. And so for a year, I had a person help me that was on the outside. And then about 3 years ago, we went deep. And that was after Andrew joined and Tracy. So we really started building out the digital advertising. And it started with bottom of funnel, the retargeting, all that, and then move it up to the middle. And then of course, prospecting at the top. So now we're on OTT, which is national streaming ads across all of the Facebook properties, the Google's properties. But our email and our SMS list is by far our strongest for bringing people into the fold after they've discovered us. But I hear most, and this is for you, Meta, we saw you on Instagram. We saw you on Instagram. That's a really big one. And they say that when they come in the store, or they say that when they're talking to our concierge team. So there's a lot of strength right now, I think, prospecting with our influencers and with the social channels we've turned to focus on. And then the conversion happens with SMS and email the strongest. So, and I think a lot of it also is word of mouth. So people love to share about a brand that's so inclusive and so welcoming. We like to say that our red carpet is so wide, everybody can walk down it at once. And that's the brand ethos that we want to convey, even in our social posts and with the influencers we work with. So we encourage people to share. We have some fans that it's mind, and they don't want to talk about it, but our favorite fans are the ones that love to share that they discover us.
I am going to bring it to Larkin to bring us home with your question.
Bring it home.
Unless it was the same question as Jess, in which case we just want to see you up close, because look at you. Oh my God, you look at me.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the beautiful bag. First of all, like I was just so blown away by the high quality. It just feels so buttery soft in my hands. I know everybody else probably agrees with that. But I also wanted to come back to something you mentioned briefly earlier, which was charity. I noticed that you also have a part on your site that's about charity. So just to hear more about your initiatives there and how people can get involved.
You know, it's funny. In the early years, we were always charitable, even when we weren't profitable. And we finally are. We always thought we could support our local education systems and a couple other charities with cancer. I never spoke about it. And it was about probably when these guys started, Andrew Chase, they're like, we should talk about this. And I was like, no, I'm from Cleveland. When you're charitable, you just do it. And they're like, you can convince a lot of other people to be charitable if you make it a little bit more front. And I said, well, I don't want it to make it our business model, but I would like to share more about it. So in the last 4 years, we've brought on like Blessings in a Backpack. They just got honored at the ACE Awards. We nominated them and they won an award and got a $25,000 check on top of what we had raised for them last year. And that's a charity that fed school children on the weekends that were already getting free lunches. It's a really great cause. So my feeling ideally is we keep giving more and more as we grow. So my largest checks have been 25 grand, but I'd love one day for it to be 100,000 and then like a Skechers, $1 million check. I just think it's part of the overall thing that you do when you're doing well. But again, it's not a business model for me. So it's in between the two. We love to support the charities that we know are doing well in the community. And if it happens to come back to us with them buying our bags, that's amazing. But that's not the only reason we work with charitable organizations. And we work with the ones that are really good on how they spend their money. We look at that. We want to make sure that they're been at the top and they're doing what's right with the funds that they're bringing in. Similar to Hammitt. I mean, we've been raised on very little capital raise, and we had to learn to be savvy and capital efficient to get this far. Now that we're raising money, and we're probably going to have the biggest injection we've ever had, we want to keep that Jeff Bezos ethos that he has, which is frugality. We like charities that are the same way.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Makes a lot of sense. And what a great way to end on such a positive note. I am so glad we got to do this and thrilled that I got to chat with both of you and that I got to basically have my job done by every single person in this room asking such a good question. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Andrew and Tony, for answering all of our questions. Thank you to the team Hammitt, who you don't even see behind them, all around them right now in that room they're in, who produced that, set up that wall behind them.
Thank you.
The Hammitt team has been amazing, and the Defiant team has been amazing in setting this up. Thank you to you all. If you want to stay in the loop on all things Hammitt, feel free to follow them on Instagram at Hammitt LA. And then also, I know here in the chat, they've added a couple links where you can learn a little bit more about their Regulation A funding and a few other things about their company. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. We'll see you all very soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much.
Enjoy your hands.
Yeah.
There's more where those came from.
Thank you, Hammitt. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks, Natalie.
Thanks, everyone.
Natalie.
Great.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Just awesome.